Good day, everyone. Welcome to our second lesson in our series of Chapter 5 video lessons. Today's title is 5.2, Multiplying Decimals, Chapter 5, Lesson 2. We've already done a lesson on adding and subtracting decimals. Now we're going to move into multiplication. I can statement is I can multiply decimals. 3 vocab words that you should be writing as you do your notes here. Vocab word number 1, product. A product is an answer to a multiplication problem. Number 2, second time we've had this word, we did it in 5.1 as well, a little bit of a different definition. We said what smart people do to check their answers. You're all smart people, so you're all going to use estimating to check your answers. And number 3, a decimal is a number that must be read using proper place value. So when you have something like this, 5 2/10, you don't say 5.2, you say 5 2/10. The other part of a decimal would be anything that comes after the decimal point would be considered the decimal part of any number, and it is part of one whole. Just like a fraction is part of a whole, a decimal is also part of a whole. It's just like the twin or the very similar item or thing to a fraction. And estimating products, again, much like adding and subtracting, you want to make a good estimate, or you want to check your work by using estimation. So what we have here is I am actually going to rewrite this problem as 9. I'm going to rewrite how it was written because I had already drawn over it. It was written as 9 42 thousandths times 6 937 thousandths. Hopefully you now remember or know that anytime you have a number followed by a parenthesis with no sign between them, that means multiplication. So we're multiplying those two numbers. And in this case, I don't really want to multiply them to get an actual answer. I just want to see what I should be close to. So 9 42 thousandths is really close to the number 9. And 6 937 thousandths, the 9 is telling us to maybe move that 6 up to a 7, is really close to 7. So I'm going to think that my answer should be somewhere close to the product of 9 and 7, or somewhere close to the answer of 63. Number 5, same thing. 12 and 500ths, I'm going to call that about 13 because I'm going to move it up. Since 12 and 500ths is right between 12 and 13. So 5 and above, give it a shove. So we're giving this a shove. And 3 2/10 is really close to the number 3. Keep it at 3 because 4 and below, leave it alone. 13 times 3 is 39. I'm expecting my answer, if I were to solve this, to be really close or somewhere around 39. If it's not, then you'll know you have made some sort of calculating error. Moving down to number 3, then, we are actually going to multiply these decimals together. So when multiplying decimals, such as 6/10 times 4/10, we just simply do the multiplication. What we have here is, and this is back to your 3rd, 4th, 5th grade math classes, we're going to multiply our first two numbers to the right together. 6 times 4 is 24, so we put down the 4 and carry the 2. So again, this 4 is being multiplied through to the 6 and then to the 0. 4 times 0 is 0, drop the 2. We've got 24. Then we're going to go through and we're going to multiply the 0 through. And most of you are saying, well, Mr. Pottinger, why would you multiply the 0 through? Because you know that 0 times 6 is 0, and 0 times 0 is 0. So you don't necessarily have to do that. But what we do have to do is we have to figure out where the decimal point goes. And since we have 6/10, 0 and 6/10, you can also write it as 6/10, and we have 0 and 4/10, or 4/10, we see that the decimal point is moved in one spot and moved in one spot on both numbers. So we are going to take the one spot on the top number and the one spot on the bottom number and add those together. The decimal point in our final answer, our product, should be moved in 2 full spots from the end, because together these numbers move the decimal point in 2 full spots. So you're going to put the decimal point right here, 2 spots in, and your answer is going to come out to be 24 hundredths. So the key when multiplying decimals is you do your multiplication, you can ignore your decimal points up until your multiplication is over, and then you count how many spots in the decimal point is. And that is where you're going to put it when you get your final answer of the product to those two numbers. So number 7, 5 and 89 hundredths times 5. 9 times 5 is 45, put down my 5, carry my 4. 5 times 8 is 40, plus 4 is 44, put down my 4, carry my 4. 5 times 5 is 25, add my 4, and I get 29. So 2945 is the product of those numbers. We have a decimal point that is moved in 2 spots here. And since there is no decimal point shown, we know that the decimal point would then technically be right there. It's not moved in any spots on that bottom number. So we're just going to take the 2 numbers on the top, move the decimal point in 2 spots, count 1, 2 from the right. My final answer is 29 and 45 hundredths. Just for kicks and giggles, let's do a quick estimate. 5 and 89 hundredths is about 6. 5 is about 5. 6 times 5 is 30. I know that my final answer is really close to 30, so I'm good to go there. Number 8, same deal. We got 8 10,000ths times 9 hundredths. So the 9 has to be multiplied through by everything. In this case, it's just the 8, because if we keep multiplying 9 through by the zeros, it gets to be 0. So 9 times 8 is 72. I'm going to go ahead and write down my 2, carry by 7. 0 times 9 is 0, drop my 7, and then everything else works out to be 0, 0, 0. You do not need to multiply the other zeros through. So now we are sitting at an answer of 00072, but we need to figure out where the decimal point goes. And this one's a little tricky. The decimal point on the top one is moved in 1. I'm going to use a different color here. The decimal point is moved in from the very end 1, 2, 3, 4 places. And the decimal point on this one is moved in 1, 2 places. So we need to move our decimal point in 6 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to put our decimal point right here. And because we moved one more spot, we should add a 0. And our final answer is going to be a very, very small answer of 72 tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths, 100,000ths, millionths. So 72 millionths is our answer. So again, all we did was multiply that 8 and 9, and then we calculated how many spots we moved in for both the top and bottom number. Move it in the same amount of spots for your product. We ran out of zeros, so I just added another 0, which is totally legit, and you have your final answer. Moving down to number 9, last problem here. We got 6 and 478 thousandths times 18 and 21 hundredths. We're going to rewrite this problem in vertical form so that we can solve. So 6 and 478 thousandths. Now, when multiplying decimals, you do not need to line up the decimal points. It's not necessary. So you're going to take this 18 and 21 hundredths, and you're just going to make sure that the 1 lines up with the 8 at the very end of the problem. So again, this is a 4-digit number. This is a 4-digit number. So we're simply going to write it as 18 and 21 hundredths. Multiply those out. So this one's going to take us a little bit of time because we have lots of multiplying to do. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 6 is 6. I'm trying to keep my place values lined up. So I've just multiplied my 1s through to the 8, the 7, the 4, and the 6. Now I'm going to go to my 2. So I'm going to go to 2 times 8 first. Before I do that, though, I'm going to use a place value holder so I don't put it in the wrong spot. 2 times 8 is 16. Put down the 6, carry the 1. 2 times 7 is 14. Plus 1 is 15. Put down the 5, carry the 1. 2 times 4 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. And 2 times 6 all the way over here is 12. And I'm done with my 2's. Now I'm going to move to my 8's. I'm going to put 2 place value holders in. 8 times 8 is 64. Put down the 4. Carry the 6. 8 times 7 is 56. Plus 6 is 62. Put down the 2. Carry the 6. 8 times 4 is 32. Plus 6 is 38. Put down the 8. Carry the 3. 8 times 6 is 48. Plus 3 is 51. Now I've got the last one to calculate, which is my 1. So all my answers are going to start right there. 1 times 8 is, I'm going to get rid of this arrow. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 6 is 6. Woo! Add them all up. I know this is a big, long problem, but you have to know how the process works. 8 plus all those zeros is 8. 7 plus 6 plus those zeros is 13. Put down the 3, carry the 1. We got 1 plus 4 is 5. 10, 14. Put down the 4, carry the 1. 7, 16, 18, 26. Put down the 6, carry the 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 12, 19. Put down the 9, carry the 1. 7 here. 11 here. That's a gigantic answer, but we're not done. We need to get the decimals in the right spot. Decimal point is 3 places in on the top number. Decimal point is 2 places in on the bottom number. So that means I'm going to start right here where my decimal always is at the end of a number and move it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My answer is in total 117 and 96,000. Oops, I don't put a comma there. 117 and 96,438 10 thousandths. When multiplying all that together, really quick, 6 times about 18 is really close to 6 times about 20. So my answer should be somewhere around 120. And look at that, it's 117. Holy moly. I think 117 and 96,438 hundred thousandths is a pretty good answer. I don't know if I mentioned this, but we do need to do cheat sheets on both number 1, number 2, and number 3. So this is main idea number 3. Make sure you get a cheat sheet. If you didn't do a cheat sheet for main idea number 2, make sure you get one for main idea number 2. And then for the vocab, make sure you have a cheat sheet for that one as well. Good luck, y'all.